This week we will learn about two of the most common suffixes, ly and en. A suffix is usually of Anglo-Saxon or Latin origin. Some suffixes have particular meanings and often place a word in a specific part of speech. Gaining a better understanding of this suffix and how to spell with it will help us grow as readers and writers. To get started today, please look over the words on the screen and in your packet. Underline the base or root word, circle any prefixes, and draw a box around any suffixes. If you finish early, read the words and think about how these words' meanings might be related. Okay, let's take a look at how to mark these. Check yours with mine on the screen. This week we will focus on the morphemes ly and en, which are suffixes. When the morpheme ly is added to the end of a base word, the word becomes an adverb that describes the verb and it tells how something is done, For example, the sentence is, she walked towards her destination. Walked is the verb, but we don't know how she walked. So I can add an adverb that describes how she walked. For example, she walked briskly towards her destination. When the morpheme n or en is added to a base word, the word becomes a verb that indicates the action of making or becoming. For example, the sentence is, the cake will harden if you leave it out overnight on the counter. Harden is the verb. The suffix n can also make the base word an adjective that describes a noun or a pronoun. For example, the sentence is, the bench is wooden. Wooden is an adjective telling us what kind of bench. Since you have already worked with words that have the suffixes ly and en in our warm-up, let's review them now. I will read a sentence aloud. You will identify the adverb that ends in the suffix ly and tell me the question it answers. I'll model the first one for you. The sentence is, she quickly finished her homework so she could go outside to play. How did she finish her homework? Quickly. So then quickly is the adjective, and it answers how she finished her homework. Another one. The children played happily in the park, enjoying the sunny day. What is the adverb that shows how they're playing? Happily is the adverb, so the question it's answering is, how did the children play? The next sentence, he quietly tiptoed into the room so he wouldn't wake his sleeping baby sister. The question we are answering is, how did he tiptoe into the room? Our adverb, quietly. For each of these, we have added ly to an adjective to make it an adverb. She carefully painted the picture, making sure not to go outside the lines. How did she paint? She painted it carefully. Here's how we would mark that word because it's care. Careful is the adjective, so we add full. And then ly makes it an adverb. Okay, let's practice seeing a word and using our routines to figure out how to say it. Watch as I model. I notice that I see a common base word, the Anglo-Saxon word thick. I underline the word thick. I also see our focal morpheme for this week, the suffix en. I draw a box around this. I know that this n suffix can make the word an adjective or a verb. Now I can read the whole word, and the word is thicken. The word thicken is a verb. The sauce thickened when Grandma stirred the pot. Notice that I did the steps of multisyllabic word reading routine out of order. They're written in. That's okay. Each of us will bring different knowledge to the words we read. I wasn't sure what the base or root word was here, but I used my knowledge of prefixes and suffixes to figure it out. Feel free to use these first 3 steps in the order that makes sense to you. Now let's do our find right mark. Your first sentence. Broadly speaking, the cultures of the 2 countries are quite similar. Make sure you are finding the word first, writing it down, and then we're going to mark it. What word in our sentence is the one that we're targeting with this week's with this week's suffix? Write broadly down. Now try and mark it. Remember, when we're marking, we circle the prefix, underline a root, and put a box around the suffix. All of this week's words are going to have a suffix. Here's how you mark broadly. Next up, she absently started to fiddle with the ring on her finger. Find the word, write the word, mark the word. The word is absently. Here's how you mark it. The chef puts the peaches in brown bags to ripen. Find the word, write the word, mark the word. There we go. Ripen. Here's how you mark it. Now, ripe on its own without the en has a silent e. When we spell ripen, we drop the silent e to add our en. Now we're going to do our fill in the blanks. For these words, I will read the sentence with the blank, and you are going to try and figure out which word goes in the blank. Remember, the word is going to use one of this week's suffixes, so those are at the top of this section of your page. Number 1. The calm protesters marched blank through the streets of the city. The calm protesters marched blank through the streets of the city. Which of our suffixes should we be using in this word? Here's a hint. I'm asking, how did the calm protesters march? They marched. It's going to end in ly. Let's see what word they gave us. Peacefully. Go ahead and mark it. Number 2, the elderly person said they were treated blank by the kind doctor. Which suffix do you think this word will need? Remember, it's going to answer, how were the elderly patients treated? It's going to end in ly. If it's answering how, it's going to end in ly. The word they gave us is nicely. Nicely contains the root nice that comes from the Latin word necius, meaning ignorant or foolish, which translated or evolved to mean pleasant or agreeable. So that's a word that's changed over time. Back in blank times, students walked 10 miles to school each day. Back in blank times, student walked 10 miles to school each day. Which of our suffixes do you think we will use for this word? ly or en? Am I asking how they walked? Or am I asking when they walked? I would be asking when they walked. The word they gave us is olden. Olden. So we need en as our suffix. And finally, I was blank when I called one of the twins by the other's name. Sounds like a case of mistaken identity. I was blank when I called one of the twins by the other's name. I was blank. Is this asking how something happened, how I did something? Or is it asking about what I am? Is it looking for an adverb with ly, or might it be looking for an adjective with en? Mistaken is the word they were looking for. I was mistaken. Mistaken means wrong. So if you put wrong in the blank, that makes sense in the sentence. But we were trying to use one that uses one of our suffixes. So mistaken is what we were looking for. Go ahead and check for understanding and reflect.